Reggie, let's play a game. You want to play a game? Let's play a game. You ready? Let's play a game. We're going to play a game called Conspiracy or Not a Conspiracy. You ready? Ready? I'm going to throw a few out there, and I want you to tell me in your own words whether you believe this is a conspiracy or not a conspiracy.
Oh, I'm breathless with anticipation.
All right. Tick bombing. Have you not heard about tick bombing?
Yeah.
Okay, tick bombing. Conspiracy or not a conspiracy?
Let me just say, when you say, have I heard of tick bombing? Let's just say that I've seen these, I guess you call it the headline.
Yeah.
Or
conspiracy or not a conspiracy.
And I've just passed right over it.
I know.
Because I don't really.
I ask about it only because I've heard like 12 people having like really like 5-alarm conversations about it.
Okay. Here's the deal. Is it possible? Yes.
Okay.
But the real thing is, really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Well, let's explain to people what the conspiracy of it is.
Well, I don't even know. Like I said,
the conspiracy is that our boy Bill Gates is boxing up ticks and shipping them off to all the states so that people will open the tick box, get bitten, and get alpha-gal, which makes you allergic to red meat, so that he can make his fake meat more popular. I feel like that's a lot of steps to sell your fake meat. But,
dude, I just realized something.
What?
Oh, we got.
Oh, dude,
the dinosaur got clobbered, bro.
It's tick bombing, bro.
Tick bombing took out.
Somebody tick bombed our ceramic dinosaur.
Our Rex, who's eating
losers.
I think it's the gnomes.
Do you think so? Do you
the
think
gnomes are tick bombing the dinosaurs?
That's probably so.
Oh,
okay. So you never answered. Conspiracy theory or not?
Conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Okay, but hold on. Let me just
come on with it.
Before we do this,
all right.
I need to say that, is there really any conspiracy theories anymore, or is it just truth being thrown out there that people just won't believe?
Like I've said before, in a lot of cases, conspiracy theory is just good common sense.
I'm telling you. So I'm just going to say I don't, not that it's a conspiracy theory, but I just don't believe it.
Okay. Next one. Bigfoot. Conspiracy theory or theory? And here's why I say that. I was reading on a website the other day that there are a bunch of Bigfoot enthusiasts that believe that Bigfoot was not an animal we did not find. It was a genetically engineered monster that our government created. And it escaped, apparently. I don't know. Most people I've met that are true Bigfoot enthusiasts are just a little bit weird.
A little bit?
You know, I'm trying to be nice, Reggie. I'm trying not to alienate any of our 4 viewers. Like,
right. So speaking of which,
okay,
so you've had this hiatus because
my son graduated from high school.
Yeah, and apparently you have to like
go to all the things.
You have to be on his coattails and that kind of thing. Even though he's like almost a grown man now, but I digress.
All right, bro.
I know. Jab. Hey, but in all seriousness, there's I actually was working on material while you were out because I'm like, I'll just do something myself. And I used to do this anyway.
Because you did a Bigfoot episode, didn't you?
No.
Okay.
But it does kind of relate to that.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, you talk about me getting off the tracks and like getting deep into stuff and going way off when we're here.
Yeah.
When it's just me and I'm creating the content, right?
And I'm having to bring you, and I'm not here to bring you back.
And I'm like, so in other words, I generate this. I have to do this anyway because I think it's important for a bunch of things. But there's an episode that we may do together. Well, you won't talk much, but it is about AI and human flourishing. That is an episode that we got to do.
Okay.
And you'll be like, I don't want to do it because it's like AI and tech, and I'll get like, bleh. But
he knows me so well.
But I'm sitting there and I'm like, and so it took me. I didn't even get the content done because I kept going. This is this is like a whole freaking like 12 episodes of stuff.
This is a mini series.
And it was. So I'm just a weirdo anyway. I get my weirdness, right, from my dad. My dad was the biggest Sasquatch Bigfoot dude. I mean, like, he watched everything, would read reports, would say like, oh, they found the family's like active in West Virginia today or something. All the time, dude.
I struggle with the Bigfoot thing, man. I do.
I don't struggle with it at all.
Well, just in the sense of like, do I believe that it is possible that somewhere on this giant planet there has been some type of mammal that we have not discovered?
But that's not the question.
It's distinctly possible. Do I believe that there is a giant family of man apes that live in the continental United States, which is one of the most populated countries in the world, and we haven't figured it out yet? No, I don't believe that.
But here's my thing about the whole Bigfoot thing. They'll have like footprints, and they'll prove to be like, oh, that's not what that was.
Yeah.
They'll have like droppings or something that's like, oh, that's not what that, it's not, it's this or that. Like, I guess there's just no, if you really see a Bigfoot, if you have a sightings of a Sasquatch, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this huge a creature wouldn't leave traces of his or her passage. Right? You would see something, a trail, and you hear these. I've seen these because my dad used to watch this crap all the time. Oh, well, they're like Neanderthals, and they're like they're so smart, and they're smarter than you. And bleh. It's like, bro,
No, they're not.
oh my goodness. So anyway, conspiracy theory: there is no such thing as Sasquatch.
Okay, last one. UFOs.
Demons.
I like it.
UFOs are demonic entities that are coming. They're just being demonic.
So
The whole even the kidnappings and abductions and everything. Yeah, that's straight up like what a demonic encounter, like dream or kind of thing would be.
that's why they probe you. Anyway,
I'm telling you.
Here's why I bring UFOs up.
Okay.
So
Oh God,
I made the mistake of getting into a discussion board on the story of everything. Right? And I got into a discussion with someone who at first was posting very reasonable statements about the size of the universe. Talked about all that in the movie, right? Then when I posited a Christian point of view as to what I had seen and what I was reading and what I was studying, the argument began that I was a pompous yahoo because I believed that God, being the omnipotent creature, and there being multiple galaxies and multiple blah, 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 that it is very egotistical for me as a being to believe that there are not beings on other planets that are coming to visit us. It was very interesting, that conversation at that point. I just basically, I didn't really insult the guy, but I was kind of like, okay, there, Spock, let's just calm down. You're taking what I'm saying way out of context. But so what do you think, Reg? How would you explain that away?
For one, I feel for the guy because I mean, like so whenever you're having to, this is what people need to understand. Whenever you're having an argument or a discussion with somebody, you're not just having an argument or discussion with that person. You're having an argument or discussion with that person, with that person's entire history of arguments and discussions about this topic. Right?
Yeah.
So this dude has probably argued and debated and all this stuff for like, if that's how he came across, like a lot, and all his responses and everything else get warped into the current one. That's kind of how this all works, right? We call it lived experience for a reason, right?
Yes.
And so like at one point you got to say, if he's coming across that strong, are you really going to get anywhere?
I should preface this by saying that he claims to have had an encounter with a intelligent being that was not from this earth. And he said it was a very peaceful, and what he used a word, and I had to look it up because it was like 114 syllables. But he was like, I had a very peaceful and fruitful encounter with an intelligent being not from this earth. Now, and my first thought was, could that have been an angel? Could he have had some kind of spiritual thing happen? It's been known to happen, right? We know that more than likely God has angels here on earth, watching over things, checking on things, spiritual beings, right? But the way he described it was that it landed in a craft in his backyard. Of all the places that an alien would come and want to investigate, bro's backyard. And he had a very fruitful conversation and interaction with a being not of this earth. And that explained to him that God was real, but we were one of many races that God created to populate the many galaxies that God created. So yeah, it got weird, like super weird. Like it got weird in a way where I was like, should I stop interacting with this dude right now? Because I think he's having a mental break. But that being said, that was his whole.
Okay, but and I get this, and I don't want to. Okay. E.T. phone home, bro.
Exactly, dude. Like I was like, okay, okay. I was with him until he landed in my backyard. And I was like, oh, so this hyper intelligent being decided that your best backyard was the place to go exploring.
And so he talked. What stands out to me though is he just talked about you being egotistical enough to say that you're the only thing in the universe, and then isn't it egotistical to assume that this alien lands in his backyard and wants to have a conversation with him? You know what I mean? Like
positionally, yes, it does.
Yes.
To him, it probably made perfect sense.
Okay, but that's the problem.
Yeah. So
look, discernment's a gift anymore, bro. I'm telling you, like it's like a rare commodity anymore. We're good. It's just. Here's the thing. Why wouldn't the creator of the universe, when he says in his word that he's preserved, if you go by any of that, and he says that creation reveals it reveals me.
Yeah.
Right? So why wouldn't there be this unbelievably vast expanse of stars and galaxies and stuff to say, check it out. I breathe these stars. Yeah. I created these galaxies.
Yeah.
That would exactly be what a god of that
magnitude.
Would do. Now, look, I don't you see these all the time, these UFO encounters and all this stuff. And you watch the documentaries and you listen to all this stuff that, especially it's aliens guy. But it's like you can quickly put some pieces together and go, it sounds more like demonic encounters than anything. Yeah. It's very deceptive. And it's the same thing with like DMT stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a difference between the DMT and NDE things, and there's critical differences there that have to be looked at. And we'll actually get, that's another one of the episode topics I have banked, by the way, is that. But so anyway, just to answer your question, it looks to me demonic.
Sounds to me like conspiracy theory.
It is very well, because it's not. I don't think it's conspiracy theory though. I think there's just a better explanation for than just UFOs or just men or it's from, the planet Uranus or some shit. It's not. They're just demonic encounters.
Didn't know that you just used the word Uranus and shit in the same sentence.
I did. Hey, you know what? It works.
Anyway, and that is conspiracy theory or not conspiracy theory. Thank you for participating, Reggie.
I feel
this is how bored I am with the news and with the world that I'm now searching for things that are stupid because they tend to seem to make more sense than what's going on right now.
Well, that's true. That is true. I won't deny that at all. And the thing is, like, and I'm not paying attention. I shouldn't say that. I keep saying that. Now it's not really true. I am very much glancing at what's going on and just leaving it be because it is such a circus of
ridiculous garbage,
of hot
garbage.
That's where I'm at, bro. It's just no.
Which I think kind of touches on our subject for today, which is what are your relationships actually telling you, right? Which kind of in a weird way connects with this, right? Like the whole,
Well, here's the point. Context. When in my goings on, context is a lot of what I have going on. And I'll tell you why, because it's like when you're in tech and you're developing things, you're leading teams, you're doing this and that, man, context matters, and it matters a lot. Now it's different between what vertical you're talking about, if I'm sitting down and managing a team of people doing a project, and the context I have with that project and with my team matters. That really enables or disables that team functioning well. If I'm sitting in a relationship with a friend of mine or with you or with my wife or whatever, the context of that whole relationship matters.
Yeah. The context of why you're even there matters.
Yes. Whenever you're doing anything in tech, where like nowadays, if you're working with AI has context that it uses, and that matters considerably. So what I was doing is, because we get inundated with AI slop content now, just nonstop. And for me, since I primarily look for and do technology and development and AI stuff, I just get riddled with AI content, right? And it's AI prompts. It's do this, do that, make $1 billion doing with AI agentic this or that. Or
just $1 billion?
Just $1 billion.
I need 10 billion.
Okay. Well, there's a prompt for that.
Okay.
Apparently. So I saw this one and I thought and it was weird how it was phrased, but it was like, it asked, like, if you were a human, what would be an unconventional daily habit to be as relentless as possible toward your goals, right? And so, and so that's the first thing it has on the post. This was on Instagram, by the way.
Instagram.
And its response, right, was like a content farm response. It was basically like, write your obituary every morning. Yeah. So you incorporate the last one. It was like such a clickbait type of thing, right? And so I thought, well, that's kind of a shallow answer, because it's really, and I can put it up here probably in the video, but here's let me find the actual, right. What it said was, write my own obituary every single morning, not the polished version, but the honest one based on how I actually lived the previous 24 hours. Okay, so that's what it said. Now, I thought, well, what if I put this in my, my Claude instance that I have? So we're talking, this is what I did. I just got back such a different aspect. I got a different response entirely. Right?
Yeah.
Now, you got to take it. This is what I mean by context. You got to understand, like, I've built systems with my AI tools, all of them, that have like deep memory files, instructions. I've gone through and meticulously done these things because I have taken the time and effort to learn and use these tools. Mm-hmm. My job has been in technology for like freaking 30 years, dude. So I mean, like, here we are. Like, I'm putting all my technology expertise into using AI tools to help do things and better myself, right?
Yep.
So when I use AI, any tool I use in AI, it doesn't matter which one now because pretty much they all carry. I wouldn't say that. Claude and ChatGPT both have a significant context to deal with. It's not persistent. This is why this matters. But there are certain things in memory that they carry over. So when I'm intentional about doing in my AI tools is like there's projects. I don't want to get into all that. But I guess to say that what I'll get back from a prompt in my AI instance is different than what someone else will. Because the way I've used the tool, the way I've meticulously done memory and everything else. But at the end of the day, you know, that content farm with the same Opus 4.8 model of AI comes back with this obituary ritual. My Claude with literally like 8 months worth of accumulated context likes my index card ritual about take every morning and in the first 15 minutes you sit down with just an index card with no electronics and just write, right? That's what it was response to me because it knows I like actual writing with my fountain pens and my ink and everything. But my answer was there's no habit at all. I root my identity in God and who I am. And I just focus on that. I won't have a daily habit like that. So what really makes these different is not so much that obviously it's not the technology or anything, but it's a contextual difference between the three different answers between how I answered it, how my AI instance handled it, and how a random content farm slop answer was generic to everybody else.
Well, that brings me to a question. What I'm seeing nowadays, a lot, especially in relationships. I mean, if we take a look across the board, first of all, at young men between the ages of 20 and 35, they're opting out. They're opting for artificial relationships, AI. They're opting for, pleasure coming from, alternative forms. Then you have the complete and utter. And I want to tell a quick story, and this happened to me recently, which is what applies this is, and this is not really contextually to relationships, but it's how easily you can get fooled. Right. I'm a t-shirt junkie. Love a good t-shirt, right? Get this thing, go on. This company is a verified company. I go research them. So I find two really cool t-shirts I liked.
Okay.
So I ordered them. In the picture, they look very comfortable. They look very easy fit. Like, great. Wait 3 weeks to get these t-shirts. I'm texting back and forth with this company through Facebook Messenger because that's how they do everything, because there's this big delay. So finally the t-shirts arrive. I'm excited. I come home. They're super cool. I open the bag and my comfortable t-shirts are made of hay. They're covered in what I like to call fur, even though they're sealed in plastic bags and the air has been taken out of them. And they look nothing like they do in the video. Now, the reason I say that is not, yeah, I got suckered. So I washed them, dried them, and donated them. Like I'm not worried about them. It was $30, man. I've spent $30 on worse and thought I was having a good time. What I'm trying to relate to that is, you know, with the Instagram algorithm and the Facebook algorithm and the Twitter algorithm and the TikTok algorithm, I feel like there is some level of, and I know this is going to sound super hyper ridiculous for me to say out loud, of some kind of demonic in-play in that, because just like the devil has you buy a lie, look at everything that the devil did to destroy men through history. That's the new lie he's selling, is the algorithm. If you come to Instagram, I'm going to show you how to live a way better life by not really showing you how to live a better life, but how to believe in a lie so that you chase something that isn't God and try to fulfill yourself with something that isn't actually really there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like that bleeds into your, you know, I see so many times these marriage counselors on Instagram. Well, I'm going to tell you how to fix your marriage. No, you're not, because more than likely you're not real. You have dating. Well, this is the kind of girl I want, or this has been around for years, getting catfished by these chicks that do use filters and stuff like that. And I feel like there's this whole layer of demonic activity where the window is this. They say, be careful what you leave open in your life. This, right? So, and AI can be the same thing, because AI, you know, I heard a guy say one time, I don't think he was using the same contents, but it made a lot of sense. People can talk pretty to you and fool your mind, right? And make you think something is something that it isn't. And he was talking about relationships and that in general. But I think what this does is it talks pretty to the weak mind. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It talks pretty to the weak mind and allows the devil that room to get in and affect all of your relationships across the board, because everything becomes comparative, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think you just said it though, and your example was
weird but relevant.
Well, no, but like what your output directly tracks with the context invested.
Yes, exactly. Lines up perfectly. Yes.
I mean, like, you know, and there's a difference between a machine and a human as well. And I think you can see that clearly from these three examples I'm giving you right here. Even with context over months of time, it still gave me a machine response about like what it pattern recognized through all my interactions and everything else. And that's what it thought I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but the more relentless and probably the deepest answer out of all that was mine.
Yeah. That
said, I'll read it because this is I actually captured the conversation so that we'd have it. So I said, when it asked me, when it said, it said, what would your answer be to this? This is what Claude was in when we were talking about this. After it answered, and I said, well, that's interesting. It asked me, what would your answer be to that question? I said, well, not to have one. Seriously, I choose to focus on contemplation, prayer. How am I being the man, husband, father God made me to be? That's the habit, quote unquote, every day. What else happens after that is not critical. So what I was doing was saying, you know, because everybody's wanting this daily thing to do. Daily this, have a habit of that. And you see this crap all the time. But at the point is, it's not what you do, it's who you are. That's the relentless, deep answer to something like this. It's like my identity rooting answer reorients yourself back to what's important every single day. Right?
Well, yeah. And the thing about it is what I've found in my life, and what I've always found in my life is, when you really want to have a deeper understanding of someone or a deeper relationship with someone, you're going to keep showing up and keep investing. You know, one of the things that didn't always follow, but I follow now is what's the investment, right? Is this relationship having, not only am I able to invest my real self in the relationship, am I getting any kind of return in the relationship? You know, it's this, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. And it's not an AI problem. It's a relationship problem would be the best way to say it. Like you're not investing in real things. You're investing, of course, AI is going to tell you what you want. The algorithm is built to get to know you and spoon feed you content it thinks you want. But if you really want that attachment relationship where you have that investment, you got to give time, right? Time is more important. You know, one of the things that we've lost in all these years is the art of conversation. You know, I sit around in a room full of teenagers and literally sit in silence. And it used to be that they couldn't talk enough. Now they hardly talk at all. And I think that that's very telling of what you communicated there. Like, I have a healthy relationship with my wife and my sons because I invest constantly in those things, right? But one of the things I don't do is meet them where they're at all the time. Sometimes they're in their phone. I pull them out of their phone. Hey, let's go do this. Let's go invest in this. We're going on vacation. I've already told everybody, phone's down while we're on vacation. I don't mind if you check your phone from time to time, but we're a family. We're going someplace together. We need to interact like a family, right? You know, and I find it very telling that how your answer panned out against theirs, because I feel like, especially Claude, because that's who I've been using a lot. I feel like Claude's depth of answers a little bit better than others. And I feel like your answer was the perfect answer. Like, simply, it's the you don't have one. There's no ritual for you. It's the investment, right? The stacking of habits, dude. I don't understand it.
I do.
I think we need to explain a little bit about habit stacking and how that works out and how that traps people, right? Because I mean, every single Instagram reel you see is a habit. Well, if you do these 9 things every day, well, who the hell has that kind of time?
Well, that's what it does. It basically engineers a failure point into your system. If you skip any one of these steps in your day, it's done.
Yeah.
You've just wrecked your system.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you don't, that's what the problem is. It's this rigid box that says, you know, in order to do this, make it a habit. But that's not the root of it. You're just, okay. It's like, okay, here's something really relevant for me and you. Our fitness regimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a habit? No,
it's not a
choice.
Habit. It's a choice.
It's a discipline choice.
Yeah.
Right. It's something we've said, this is something that is worth my time. And I wish to be better and use that as a method to get there. Okay. So how can I stay healthy without being, 500 pounds and eating Cheetos and, my ding dongs all day.
You listen here. I dig a good Cheeto, bro.
Well, I wish I could, but I
we
don't.
Both dig a good Cheeto. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, the Cheetos are long gone for me, man. But
if they came up with an AI way of eating Cheetos.
Okay, but the point is, though, it's not a habit. It's like, I mean, honestly, dude, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for me, I have to make a choice. And that choice is either, am I going to break myself down today or am I not?
A great example. I'm going on vacation. I found the closest gym. I'm not going to stop the discipline, right?
It's not a habit.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's a choice to a positive action towards betterment. Okay. Now, I think we have to acknowledge something here because you kind of said it a little bit. So AI is performative.
Yeah.
Okay, have to understand this. What you're talking about on like social media or even with somebody's interactions with AI that they're trying to use, and a large language model, any LLM, those LLMs are coded and specifically have a target for your satisfaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, they're trying to tell you what you want to hear in some kind of pattern recognition and matching to what they think you need. So there's all kinds of things that go into
what
that.
they think you want.
And we'll have to get into, and that's part of another episode. We can talk about what AI is and how it works and everything else, because I think a lot of people have no idea. But just for now, just understand that it doesn't have it's not necessarily an intelligence, so to speak. It's really a pattern recognition system. Okay, that says, okay, and one of their objectives in what they're dealing with you in is to elicit you a satisfying response. So that says that you like what they've told you. Okay, so when you see this crap, or if you don't build any context into things, that's what it's going to do. It's going to try to appease the user.
Well, and here's a great example. Okay, when we talk about engagement versus actually performance of a thing, right? Like, just look at what it does. It's optimized for strangers. It's designed to generate a graphic, not help a person. I mean, honestly, take a look at Instagram and peel through Instagram and tell me that's something that you found that you've actually applied to your life, or have you just applied yourself to the misbelief that because you read it, you do it? Performs well for anyone. It's not really useful for anyone specifically, right? Like, and then you got the content farm loop. You got multiple accounts with an identical prompt, identical answer, different headline. For example, the answer was brutal. The answer was shocking.
Yeah.
Like here's
one.
Yeah.
Just an example.
Yeah.
Okay. It's from an account called Innovation on Instagram, right? Here's now let me here. Oh, look at that. Let me capture this. So what I'll do is I'll put it up here in the video, right?
Okay.
But it says Claude confidently lies to you every single day. Here's your single prompt that forces it to tell you the truth, right? So then it goes through and it gives you the settings. Which let's just capture these along the way. So go to the Claude settings. It says go to general and paste the prompt given in the next slide. Then it says, this is the prompt you put. You are not my assistant. You are my advisor who happens to be smarter than me. Follow these rules in every reply. So then it gives you all these rules. I'm not going to go through them because I think at the end of the day, I'm just going to put this all up here and you'll just see it. Disagree, do all this kind of stuff or whatever. Okay. So it has all these things that it's telling you to do in this prompt. All right. And I'll slide through those as we're talking about them right here in the middle. So but here's the honest truth. That does not work.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll say, I've seen this actually before. And it's manufactured, and this is part of the content, AI content slop farm kind of crap you see every day. Those things, some of them have some bearing, but it's not absolutely true. Okay, so anyway, let me get back to this. So that's one example of kind of what we're seeing, and that was AI generated. So that was an AI generated content meant to be AI general whatever slop that you see all over. But that was absolutely generated by AI. So what happens is you have like not just one account that is given that. You have multiple accounts with the identical answer, with just like a different picture on the front or something, maybe a different headline or whatever. And then it's just laundered through all these different social media platforms. Okay. So there's no context there. It's just slop. So when you see this, folks, understand that that's what it is. It's not meant Like, it's meant to entice clicks and views and this kind of thing. It is really kind of shallow, and you'll get very little out of those things.
Well, here's the thing. And here's the thing that I think people don't realize. It's only benefiting the person who's posting the content because they're getting rich off your laziness, off your unwillingness to get off the floor, get off the couch, get out of your chair, and actually go enact the rituals that you claim by reading that you want to have happen. You know, I saw one the other day, and this got sent to me by somebody, and it said, I hope my wife knows how much I love her because she's what I prayed for all my life. He's like, and I'm like, are you sending me that because you think I would appreciate it, or are you sending me that because you want me to think that you're doing that? And if you're a man of God, that meme means nothing because you should already be interacting in that process of praying for your wife and praying for your life and praying for your prosperity. And for
Do you think I would send you that, Brian?
No, not you, but it just got sent to me.
But I'm just saying, like, but understand.
Because it's stupid. I'm going to call it, it's stupid. It's stupid.
But you understand the context of our relationship.
I do. If you sent that to me, there's a joke coming behind it.
See, this exactly, you know, that's what I mean.
Like Reggie, like, okay, so let me explain something about our relationship. Reggie is not a morning person.
No.
I am. So I dragged Reggie to breakfast this morning at 8:30 a.m. When Reggie showed up and was, I won't say disgruntled, but was unhappy about the time we were having breakfast, I wasn't surprised. Why? Because Reggie and I know each other very well, and anything early in the morning is not his favorite thing. So, and I think that's a part of the connection too, is they want to get you to send this all to your friends. So your friends will be like, oh, that's so heartwarming. And then you click on it and you like it and follow it, and they get another click and another penny in their pocket. And if I could drive anything across to anybody that spends their time burning through these reels at the rate that they do, is that all you're doing is making another man rich off your laziness.
Well, I mean, look, it's at some point, like I get under, like, scrolling, and you're just looking at things, and I mean, some things are interesting or whatever, but how is that why would you start drawing conclusions about things or expect to get more out of it than just that? Okay. I guess that's where I'm going here. Like, you're just scrolling through stuff, dude. You're not getting much out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you can't. Like, I know there's definitely cases where I've come across some kind of meme or post that led me down another road to look at something or think about something in a different way. It didn't change my beliefs, didn't change my core views about things, but there was whatever the case may be, right? But for us, though, to sit back and look at these things and say that this is, and I think this is where this is important in the context of this context and conversation, is, you know, we're looking at AI now as you get doom and gloom, or you get all kinds of things, and I'm kind of like a different sort altogether. Yeah. So the key for normal people who are not in tech is to just know that AI will produce what it gets out of you. What you put into it, you get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not anything different than normal everyday life. Like, you won't get out of your marriage unless you invest in it. You won't get into your job unless you invest in it. You won't you won't be leading a team appropriately unless you invest in it. Right? That's the core principle here, is that, you know, in tech, we see context as a different thing. With AI, it's like, oh, that's a limit that we have, and we have all this stuff. But at the same token, that's the context we have a human.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure we fill that context with the right, with stuff that matters.
You know, and it's an example, you know, marriage and close relationships. Like, you know, okay, so the biggest thing is, you know, I hear a lot about when divorces happen or when relationships break down, right? Is, well, they just changed.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If you're listening and talking and asking questions and being engaged and involved in your relationship, then you're going to be aware of that change and you're going to adapt and you're not going to get caught off guard. And a very good kind of window to look at this in is,
can you do that again? That was funny.
The window. Okay. Is the about 80% of divorces right now are being put in by women. And when they interviewed a lot of these women, that was, well, he just changed. And I wanted to grow and I wanted to empower myself, and he was trying to make me, and you're right. He probably did change. But were you engaged enough to understand that people develop and grow over time, and that's part of a relationship is to grow and change? But these women you see them. Oh, I went to TikTok. I'm going to go to Instagram or TikTok and I'm going to post a video on how just have a hard time having because nobody cares. Here's the thing. You're an adult. And you should have enough confidence in your marriage if something doesn't feel right to go to your spouse and be like, hey, something ain't working. And we need to figure out whether it's me or it's you, or maybe it's just a stage that our marriage is in and we need to understand that. And what's funny is these same women go back on Instagram a year later and are angry because their spouse has moved on and they're not as happy as they thought they would be, and they don't have what they thought they would have. And I lost my home and I lost my financial stability because I divorced my husband, and you're the one that wanted this, right? And you're the one that allowed an algorithm full of angry leftist, feminist, crazy people convince you that marriage is a bad idea, that you don't need it, that it doesn't benefit you in any way. If you sit down and do a pros and cons list, the pros list is infinitely long. The cons is very short. So I don't, but I go back to it because it all falls back on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook,
Well, you're talking about instant gratification in the platforms that we have.
Yeah.
That's content engineered for a quick fix.
And it's also content engineered to take apart relationships.
Because they're assuming that everything's always going to be a quick fix and everything's always going to be instantaneous, that you don't have to put.
If I give you this little blurb that says you can do it, you're a bad biatch.
Here's your habit.
And then your habit turns into the loss of all your relationships, your marriage, your close friendships.
Look, the output deficit is downstream of the input deficit, right?
Yeah.
With all of this. So it doesn't matter if you're working on, like for me, it doesn't matter if I'm working on like a major project where I'm developing an application or a solution or something or whatever. My input of that is going to directly affect the output of that. The output of that is a direct inference of the input. The same with these idiot people they changed. Well, yeah, and so did you probably. So why haven't you, either of you? And this is it. Neither of you have put enough into that at that moment.
Yeah,
like you've just uncovered the problem. Like neither of you are talking or actually moving or investing time in each other.
What do you actually know about your spouse's interior life at that point? You don't know anything.
No,
because if you did, there would be alarm bells going off and you both would be working on fixing it.
This reminds me of Joey Swole, bro. He's one of the few social media things that I actually look
Dude,
to.
I like that dude, man. I like that dude.
I mean, and here's why. It's not because he calls people out or whatever, but like stuff like this, he's actually talked about before when some kind of idiot feminist post, blah, 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 and he just whacks it, and calls it how it is. And that dude has absurdly weird big arms.
Oh, he's on gear, bro.
He has to be.
He is. He's on gear.
Because it looks weird.
And I'm not dissing him for anything.
No.
He's on gear. He's a bodybuilder. He's on gear.
Oh, I mean, man, but
Now, don't get me wrong. I've met some dudes that are naturally big dudes like that, but that's 1 in a million shot, man. Like, and if Joey, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But
no, but look, I love his content though, because he calls out stuff like this.
I wish he's the kind of content I wish there was more of out there.
Because look, this is the thing. Because here's another point about the context. Our community has context.
Oh, it does.
Right? How our society functions is contextual. So when you have a constant barrage of this nonsense and no one ever says anything, what happens? Yeah. It gets construed as that's okay. That's fine. That's correct. We believe in that.
Yeah.
But if there's some backlash saying, no, I'm sorry, but that's stupid and you're an idiot for thinking such a thing, then it becomes part of the actual societal, structure. Yeah. And this is why we still need, this whole, I thought of this right here is the whole being a dangerous man and being meek, what that actually means and how that affects the context of the society, I guess. I won't get into all of that, but it just like flashed in my head. So anyway, but this also it's like the same kind of, the same kind of thing we're talking about in relationships and with your marriage applies to leadership and with teams.
Okay, I got to say something. This is my favorite part of it. But I want to say something to people who are bringing people up in leadership, whether you're in a church, whether you're in a business, whether you're in a softball team, whatever it is. Stop calling people managers. Stop asking people to manage things. And the reason I say that is if you're asking me to manage something, that means there's a mess I got to clean up. Brian, we want you to be the store manager. No, you want me to be the guy with my mouth open at the bottom of the hill and crap rolls downhill. Ask me to help you lead the team and then work with me to lead the team. Tell me what your expectations are. Give me the tools to do it. Don't give me expectations and then put your foot in my back and push me out there and be like, and I think this is where a major fail happens in the church is we say, bring me problems, but then we train them not to. Because we use fallible phrases like, well, I understand what you're saying. You figure that out because I want you to have the experience of contemplating. And we train them not to want to come to us. We train them to optimize their lives by not taking a step out that is very important. If I go to my leader at church or just like your kids, if your kids come to you and ask you for a solution to a problem and all you do is BS them and run them in circles, eventually they'll just stop.
Yeah.
Your wife will do the same thing.
Sure.
Right? So we train people not to engage while we're telling them to engage. But it also goes back to your words don't mean a whole lot. Your actions do. Right?
You have to back up what you say.
Yeah. You just have to stop talking and start acting. Because people fall in behind the person who has the most powerful activity. Right? So if you have 5 people in a room, your kids, your wife, whoever, and everybody's doing this, and you as the head of the household stand up and go, we're going to do this, and then you begin to take action, that's going to have an impact. But to stand back and go, well, that's a great suggestion. Won't you work that out and circle back to me in 3 months? And then when you circle back to me in 3 months, well, my time's tight. Can we set up another time? All you're doing is training that person to never come to you again. Whether that's your kid, whether that's your coworker, whether that's your brother next to you at church, whether that's your friend, you're just teaching them loss. Nobody likes to experience repeated loss. And that's what you're teaching them is it's going to be a loss. So just don't come.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Your pattern of what you're putting into that leadership is the exact thing you're going to get back or expect no results from.
Yeah.
Another example for me, and this is a direct one that I thought of was, I have these one-on-ones with my team, like weekly, right? And it's every week. Every week we have a one-on-one. I schedule it for 30 minutes. It's just to really see what they're doing. If they need anything, what's going on. It's just a time for me and that person so that they can have at least some point in that week when they can talk to me.
Yeah.
And look, if you only come to that, and if I only come to that in an expectation of just tell me what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then I won't get everything. That's really what matters, right? I won't hear some of the experiences or whatever that I probably want to know.
Yeah.
So and I've had to do this too, where I've, because sometimes I get on these things, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, well, I'm glad you're doing okay. If you need something, let me go. But it lasts like 3 minutes and you're done.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but that can't be all the time.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean, like, if I don't make those one-on-ones important and I don't show up and I like cancel them or move them or whatever, then they're not important anymore.
Yeah.
And they won't, whoever your team is won't think they're important either. And they won't give it the time that you think it is.
Well, it's the number one mistake made in general is, again, withdrawal of the investment. A person asked me one time, how do you choose, when I was in marketing and management, how do you choose people that you promote? I spend time with them. I interact with them. I watch them work. I give them input, and I'm not giving them input only because I want them to have the input. I'm also giving them the input because I'm watching their response. Can you take constructive criticism? Can you stay cool under pressure? Can you respond to me in a way that's beneficial? Right. And I think you see a lot of that transfer into personal relationships. We've all had that friend that anytime you challenge him, he's like, bah, blah, blah. And you're like, dude, quit being a D-bag, man. You're just killing me. And eventually that friendship ends because you get tired of that person. You get tired of that response. Right. And I feel like that's a mistake that we as men make a lot of times when we're leading our families is we begin to manifest the stress in a way that's unhealthy for everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we both are barking men.
We are. We were both barking men.
We will both do that.
Yeah.
And that's
but
fine.
I tend to hang on to that until I feel like it's absolutely necessary.
It's just okay. But again, it's like whatever my experience has been.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, and that's what I think, dude, I thought about this when I was creating this stuff because I thought how much of my context gets so wound and like up in who I am at that moment. There are some days when I got it together and like I'm patient, I'm tolerant. I can listen to disagreement and all this stuff. I'm on it. But dude, there are some days when I just wake up, I'm either mad or whatever. And it's just like from the get-go, if you try to talk to me and it's serious, it's not going to,
it's not going to manifest.
It won't. And I think that's a critical thing though to understand about yourself and others, right? Sometimes you don't need to ingest anything into that context.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to say, you know what? It's full. We're just going to.
We're cool.
I think that's important to know.
Well, but I also think that's important to know what that measure for yourself is too. Like a lot of times I feel like emotional lack of control can get the best of us. And I think it's also, I've had to apologize tons of times to my wife, of course, to my kids, because I didn't respond like I should have. But it's also best that you can't just be the guy that demands recognition for it. You got to be able to recognize it in your family. Like I can walk in my house and feel the temperature at times. If I walk in and I'm like, oh, okay. My wife got up this morning. She had been traveling this week. She was tired. I could feel the temperature when she got up. And I was like, you know what? We're going to keep it cool, calm, collected. We're not going to ask a lot of questions. What do you need? What can I do for you? And you got to understand that a lot of times it's not a personal thing. It's not an attack. It's just that person's personality and the way they do things. One thing I can tell you as someone who is a barking individual, I'm also very aware when that part of me starts to trigger. And then it's best for me to maybe do things solo for a little bit until I get control of it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go as far as to say I'm completely introspective and I know every time. And I mean, I don't. There's sometimes when there will be like this small voice in the back of my mind going, "You're being a dickhead right now."
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "I don't care, bro." You know.
How was that again?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there will be. I mean, like, you know, it's like somebody tells me in the back, "You are right now a legitimate asshole, and you should stop what you're doing."
Yeah.
And I just yell it. You know, it's like grumpy old men except on 12. You know.
Yeah.
But all right, so look, let's talk about one particular thing that I'm driving theologically through all of this.
Okay.
That is prayer. Because out of everything that we have context, and this is one I will tell you right now, and I have to be completely transparent, I am so guilty of this. I mean, holy cow, am I guilty? Because I do not and I would say it's a rare, man, when I put the investment into my prayer life like I should. It's either task or I'll run down a list real quick or something or whatever. But I don't take my prayer life like I should. And I get out of it what I put in it. It's the same thing. Yeah. And why what made me come to this is like I was listening to this thing on what was it called? It was something on YouTube. I can't think of the name. It had this like Viking dude, and it was just like what did it say? Battle Ready Psalms or something like that. Yeah. So it was like the book of Psalms, but it was like a Viking war chant of the Psalms, right? And I thought, well, that's cool. I haven't read Psalms in a minute or whatever. So I put it on the other day while I was working, and I'm just listening to it and going, oh crap, man, I forgot how deep the Psalms are. Yeah. You just do, man. If not that you forget that it's like, but you just if you haven't read it in a while. And I thought, of all things, because David doesn't arrive at some of these Psalms, and it's not just David, but anyway, he's primary. He doesn't just arrive at the Lord is my shepherd. Yeah. First off. Yeah. This is a thing he's intentional and built up to and everything else. So I think when I hear, Psalm 22, 23, 51, 139, such range and depth of those things. And it's like, and I thought to myself, is this something I could do, tomorrow, is write my own Psalms? It's like, no, my context is shallow. And that's what I feel like I need to fix.
I feel like my prayer life is kind of open contextually. And what I mean by that is I pray all the time. Like, because I feel like my relationship with God is personal.
Sure.
So I speak to him like it's a personal relationship. I openly pray. Sometimes, man, I don't even know what to pray for. So I'll pray for clarity. God, I know that I should have more for you now. I'm having trouble putting it together. So I'm going to pray for clarity to understand what you need from me and what you need me to tell you. One of the things that it really bothers me is when people almost demand that people pray in like a ritualistic fashion.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking like that.
My prayers to God, sometimes I'll be like, Lord, you better put a collar on me because I'm starting to get aggravated.
I'm about to
bring me down a notch because we're about to get uncorked and nobody's gonna like what's about to happen. But I'm able to recognize them every day that he needs to hear from me. And it's a prayer of thanks. God, thanks for another day.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for another opportunity. Thanks for being you. Thanks for saving me. Thanks for giving me my family. Thank you for all the things that I should be saying thank you for every 10 minutes for the rest of my life. I just want to say thank you. And then my next prayer is, God, put me where you need me today. Where do you need me? Where do you need me to be? Where do you need me to intervene? Who do you need me to speak to? Is there somebody that needs my help? Put them in front of me. I don't care. One of the things that I'm very grateful for, I've always been grateful for, is I don't have a real hard time talking about what I believe.
No.
And no. If somebody needs me to talk with them, I don't care if you're a stranger. I don't care if I've known you for 30 years. That's fine. we'll talk about it. You know, I will say that a lot of the responses I've gotten as of late are far more abrasive than I probably wanted them to be, as far as the people, how they respond to me when I talk to them about what I believe. But dude, if you don't want to swim in the pool, don't put on your trunks and don't jump in, right? Like but I mean, I think that the encouragement for that is we'd spend all of our time telling God to give us something. Ask God for what he wants you to have, because it's really what you're going to get anyway. God gives you nothing that you're not prepared for, right? Like, this goes back to the old adage, though, you got to be okay with no, you know? So, but you're right. I mean, if you look at Psalms, you look at a lot of parts of the Bible, man, we don't come close to what should happen.
Well, and I'm saying that, you know, I do like the bare minimum in my mind is what I'm saying. Like, yeah. So I'm not disagreeing with anything you say. Like, I take every day and I do, it's not like I don't pray a lot or whatever, but it's just, I feel like I don't put in a lot of effort into making that as fulfilled or as much as it should be, is my point here. So like when I'm looking at things, like I'll say, thanks Lord for this, you know, but Thanksgiving is the most important thing I can do in my prayer life. But am I really building more out? Am I really putting more enough into it, or even am I making a lot of effort into it? And it's like, no, not sometimes. Now, sometimes that's all I got.
Yeah.
But you know, there's sometimes when I feel like, and this is where I think like, as far as the Psalms go, like I'll say this, I haven't like built that context to the point where I feel like I can lament and do it well.
That's true.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Like and not that I feel like you couldn't or whatever, but it's like, for me, I haven't put the context and effort into that prayer input. And
that's fair. That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I mean,
cause here's where this goes. This typical thing I hear nonstop. I tried prayer and I didn't get anything out of it. Or why would you pray? He doesn't need it, or all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I didn't find God when I went looking for Christianity or something. You know, I hear this stuff all the time.
Like he's Where's Waldo.
And it's just,
sorry, man. That's the worst to me. I tried being a Christian, but I never found God.
So now as an apologetics guy, so what young in my walk, I guess you say the first reaction you want to do is you want to have rebuttals for all this stuff. And you want to say, well, that's not, did you throw Bible verses and all this stuff? But you know what the actual thing to do?
Lay it on me, Reg.
Context.
Yeah.
When somebody says, I tried prayer and I got nothing.
How many times did you pray?
Well,
what did you
What
pray
was
for?
going on when you tried it last? I mean,
Did you pray out of desperation? Did you pray out of
you answer, you'll find the context answers the question.
Yeah.
I tried Christianity and I didn't find God.
That's a way super deeper statement than I think you and I even realize at this point.
Oh yeah. But
I mean, that's
someone says things like this and it's like, you really need to understand where they're the context.
And an example of that is, and this may sound weird, but I either feel like my prayer is answered in a better way, or I feel like I feel better about going before God when I start recognizing that I need him to forgive me for who I am. When I start my prayer that way, it tends to be better. But I think, like you said, a lot of people pray out of desperation. So the prayer will be, God, if you'll just give me this money, I swear I'll do better. Well, that doesn't really mean anything to God, because money doesn't really mean anything to God, right?
No.
So again, where we're talking about action, if you want to really start to pray, in a way that you might see a benefit, start by just asking God to reveal himself to you in the way that he sees fit in your life.
And how often are you picking up that Bible?
Yeah. Are you in the Word?
And you're reading anything in it to actually give you direction and let him speak back to you.
And I can't tell you how many times through the day I open Logos and I'll have a thought and I'll chase that thought biblically.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to advertise for Logos, but y'all are awesome. Anyway.
Logos.
But, you know, because if you're reading your word and you're beginning to understand the roadmap that God has laid out for your life, prayer and meditation in God becomes a lot easier.
But okay, the good news is this can all be fixed. It's a self-constructed problem.
Yeah. It's not an Instagram constructed problem. It's not an AI constructed problem. It's a self-constructed problem.
It's like you're not locked into your output. Yeah. You're not locked into the current yield. You have the ability to change that and move it towards a different direction. You do, and that's a great. That is so. It's not something you're going to solve over this. Now, granted, the AI thing with context is a little different. In trying to, I think there's a definite sense of a engineering involved to get AI to function as you want it to.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to get easier, by the way, over time. But for now, just understand you get more. You're going to get more out of the tools, your marriage, your prayer life, your team, whatever, by changing how and what you put into it. So the same principles apply to all this stuff. And I mean, the end of the day is you've built this shallowness yourself.
Yeah.
So it's on you to fix this.
Well, here's the way I would put it. And in this, you may agree or disagree with this. Fear and faith both take a belief in something that's non-existent.
Well, not non-existent.
Well, most fears, though, they say that 85% of the things that you fear will never come true.
That's true, but faith is
you put your faith in God. You can't touch God. You can't taste God. You can't see God.
It's just,
you put your faith
exists.
It exists. Something that doesn't exist manifestly, like it's in front of you, right? So you got to make a choice.
I get debate
right?
too.
And a choice exists in this, and the choice is: do you want to choose to have faith in fear and be bound to it, and you live your life in AI because you're afraid to live your life in the real world? Or do you want to anchor your faith in Christ, who gave you this world and gave you this body and gave you this opportunity and chooses to give you hope and chooses to give you direction and chose to adopt you into the kingdom as a prince or a princess, for that being of him, a brother or sister to Christ, right? You have the choice, right? And that's what this boils down to. This whole episode boils down to choice. It's just your choice. You can choose to allow a computer to live your life and get the quick dopamine hits and then move right through your, disastrously, trudgingly day that you're going to move through. Or you can choose to make the choices that are going to root you in things that are real, relationships that are real, life experiences that are real, and live like you should live.
But I think you said choice. So that brings it to agency. Like everybody has agency in this, in context of what you do and what you're doing and how you're getting out of it. Lamentations 3:22 through 23. And I'll just paraphrase this. Mercy's new every morning.
Yep.
The relationship is never locked in the past, and the invitation is present tense.
Yeah.
Right? Read it. It actually pinpoints this whole thing right to it. And, going back to the whole start of this thing, this relentless habit, uncompromising, relentless habit kind of thing, the rooting it in the identity changes the equation, because it puts the strength into who you are and not what you do. It wasn't that it was AI didn't have the depth to kind of do that, but it was functioning from the input that it had. And so let's just think about how we are interacting with people and things, because both of them are going to output what you put in.
Yeah. Both of them, you're going to get back what you put in.
Yeah. And I mean, and even even my response was, don't have one. Seriously, just whatever. Root it into, who I'm supposed to be, God has me for to do. AI's response back to that was, manufactured and just pattern recognition of what it knew. That's what I'm saying. Now, look, let me just say this. It's not like AI is not useful or you can't get answers out of it unless you spend this. That's not what I'm saying. But it's when you ask things of tools and of people, context matters. And in a lot of ways, context is everything.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So we're on B Talks.
I'm Brian.
I'm Reggie.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.